All right, welcome to the Cheer Company Files. This is Mike,
This is Carlos.
and I'm doing this from the road. That's how dedicated I am. We got to keep on schedule, and we have to talk about every episode. And this was a good one, and a really important one, just from I think a plot perspective. But it almost seems like that every week. Am I right?
It does, yeah. Although some episodes are very more surreal than others, and I feel like this one, which we'll talk about in a second, it felt grounded and just gave us a bunch of answers.
Yeah, and almost resolution, but I don't trust it. I don't trust the fact that it seems like a lot of answers are handed to us on a silver platter of what this mystery is about. It makes me think, especially because big news alert, season 2 has been greenlit. All the resolution may not even happen this season.
Or, and because there's a million ideas in their brain, they could just take it somewhere else as well.
Yeah.
But it was weird that it wrapped up, and we'll get into that. But it felt like it really wrapped up, and I was like, "What is happening?" And like you, I'm like, "Of course, this can't be it. There's got to be some sort of freak out coming,"
Yeah, I feel like they're just setting us up to just fool us because I don't feel it seemed like they were handing us all these answers, including the antagonist being right there talking through it with Ron.
Yeah.
And just not trusting it. But before we get into the play-by-play and going scene by scene to talk about it, we have comments you want to walk through? Facebook comments?
Yeah, well, we have so many people checking out the Facebook page as well as just the podcast, leaving comments. I just thought I'd quickly mention some at the top here because you're all a part of the show with us. And on the basic post that you just posted about like, hey, what's everybody think about the show? Ryan said, which is exactly what I'm thinking when I think about this episode. He said, who wants to meet baby? Baby's home. Just hearing it and saying out loud makes me angry. Like, I despise baby. I think it's hilarious, but I'm so mad at baby.
Well, I'm just wondering, dogs and animals seem to be a bigger and bigger part of just Ron's personal life and psyche and the character development. And it was so weird that he went out and got a dog. It just like, it's such a, I don't know, a coping mechanism, a way for him to basically get the attention off his failure.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he pushed Jeff and Barb. I mentioned in the last episode that Barb was finally starting to get a little bit of fed up with Ron. She was really fed up this episode when she heard that Ron had pushed Jeff, and she's just laid it all on the line. She's like, I do everything for this family. What? She actually goes, what do you do?
I know. I was kind of surprised that she finally went there. I mean, I'm not really surprised. She should have went there a long time ago. She's been very, very good to him. And what was interesting just to watch him, high level here, go back at her. He was never really mean. He only was mean like for a second when he said like, what do you do at the soup kitchens? And then he almost like took it back immediately, and he felt bad about it.
He's reflexively defensive and almost in fight mode every time someone confronts him. Same way when Mike does it. Same way when Barb does it. He's reflexively confrontational. And then I think he later upon reflection just feels stupid and dumb. And that's why he probably goes out and gets a dog.
Yeah. Although, like you mentioned on the Facebook comment, it has a bonnet. Why does it have a bonnet? Because it's a baby. It's also a large dog. It also bit him. I just have so many problems with baby. I hate baby.
Bit him and got rat poison, which then allowed him to spread that rat poison to other people in a fight.
That whole thing was a sketch. That was like a very good, like, I think you should leave sketch. It really was. So I hate baby. Baby's a thing. We got a lot of comments on the Facebook page about baby. Please don't yell about mysteries around baby, Jason says. People were talking about this being kind of a mini, like a quick, steady stream of bite-sized answers. Ross said that. It did feel like a bunch of answers in one episode. Rhonda couldn't stop laughing at his crying mirror image, which I do not understand that.
It went on forever. Was almost, it felt like, experimental comedy. Like, am I missing something? Just Tim crying faces, just repeatedly on loop for like a minute straight.
Yeah.
As he was slow dancing with Barb as we closed out this episode, which was not, it was unlike any other close of an episode that we've experienced. It was just weird. No cliffhanger. And reading into it, and I don't know if we're jumping there too soon, with what happened at that end, was he just kind of saying, okay, this is, I guess I'm giving in, the mystery solved and I'm happy. Life is good. It was weird.
I think it was. And I think it was Tim Robinson's way of doing that. It was like, okay, we get it. And if you remember, I'm not going to apologize anymore. But and I think you should leave when he's in that dating show, and he was all about the zip line.
Mm.
He's like overly crying in that episode, like a lot, and it keeps cutting to him going like that. He loves doing that kind of a face, and so it's almost like he has this opportunity now to just do that face for like a long time. So I think it's
It's
him just
it's
saying like, "Yeah, I give in."
it's funny Tim face, but also when you read, for example, the Reddit threads, people are going, he could really be a serious actor. I buy him seriously as a comedic actor in this. I don't know if like that is like what I was expecting, like a drama type of crime.
No, I don't. No, no.
No. So let's hop into it. Let's go into it. I mean, the whole episode starts where he gets home, lands on his front porch, happy and almost giddy with life, feeling like a big weight's lifted off his shoulder. After, if everyone remembers last episode, he discovers about 1,000 chairs in this big open office room at the Delaware City Hall. This happiness quickly falls apart as he wakes up from his slumber, and he realizes, oh shit, I lost my job. Maybe, oh shit, I shoved Jeff.
Yeah, and what's funny is this whole episode, none of that comes to roost. Like none of that is addressed really. I mean, it's brought up so that it breaks like the bond a little bit between him and his wife. So that's why it's there, right? It's a subject for like them to go, hey, why'd you do that? And she's like questioning him again. But yeah, we don't see anything happen because of it. It's just like they're going to get back to me about it.
I felt like a lot of the episodes goes back and forth almost between, okay, this episode to spend a lot of time on the work storylines, the work life. And then much like episode 5, I feel like episode 7 was very much about spending a lot of time in plot development and chasing the mystery. And outside of work, he was out being a detective, taking pictures, getting pelted with rocks from like kid gangs, and then eating stacked turkey sandwiches at sub shops. But like once he wakes up from that and has that confrontation with Barb, almost immediately he goes out and gets a dog.
Which
And
I didn't even think was real. I was like, am I hallucinating? Is this happening?
you hate Baby so much. I didn't hate
I
Baby.
hate Baby. Oh, I do.
And is it because it was a dog named Baby with a bonnet on it?
No, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, here's the reasons why I hate Baby. Let me break it
You're
apart.
telling me
real
that a
quick.
Tim Robinson thing doesn't make sense. Like everything about Tim Robinson
No,
shows
no,
me
no,
never
no.
makes sense.
It's like in this world, I guess it kind of makes sense for his character because he would do something dumb just to get the attention off of him. But I'm saying I don't like Baby itself because it's a large dog. It's obviously a not controlled dog. It bit him. It's like a drama. It's like chaos. And I don't like that in life in general. And he goes out to get that to sue the family. And of course, you saw what his son was like. He was like, great, dad, whatever. Like, it's the worst decision.
That reaction from Seth was just a sign of Seth's continuing distancing from his dad, as was the hat, the little top hat in the garbage.
Yeah.
Like Seth has basically said, screw you, dad.
Yeah.
You don't care about me. I'm pulling away.
And also, he doesn't want freaking Baby around. Because I'm sorry, who does? Wait, you do love Baby. I think you love Baby.
Well, I think that dogs are an important part of Ron's life, and I have to wonder if him losing that other dog, that was almost looked like his best friend before. When, if we remember the episode that ended, maybe it's episode 3 or 4, where Natalie's spying on him. He's talking to the dog about the Jeep tours and how he's got to make it work. He's talking to the dog.
Okay.
He lost the dog, and if we go to the end of this episode, Barb is slow dancing with him, saying, "I know life's been hard for you. Seth's going. You lost the dog, and so I just have to wonder if like this is like a sign of Ron just trying to get something back in his life."
I get it. Wow. Good way to bring it back around. And it makes sense for his character. I get it. Also, it doesn't need to be Baby, though. I think it's the wrong dog. And I have to mention this. I'd be remiss if I didn't. And I think you should leave. There's a sketch where a dog barks a lot at him dancing with sunglasses on. And it really reminded me of that scene because he's like, don't yell. And Barb was yelling. And when she yelled, the dog like barked. Felt like the same scene. Anywho, let's move on.
So after the fight with Barb, over the dog. There starts a sequence of scenes where there's this angry music. Did you
Mm.
notice that? How, and I love, again, I just love how they use music. I think we talked about last episode, that punk rock song, that Peer Ibu, I think Peer Ibu, an experimental music band. So it was an actual song, it wasn't this AI created song.
Mm-hmm.
But each scene just starts off with some hardcore, almost riffs, chunky guitar riffs. He's spying on the city hall. He's calling in and checking in. He asks us about Teresa Bonaventura.
Yeah. To see what she's a purchasing agent, right? Director.
Yeah. And this name becomes an important one throughout this whole episode.
But it's a weird last name. I mean, if anybody has that name, it's not weird. And I apologize, but it's interesting. Bonaventura.
I guess it sounds like a street in California is what it sounds like.
It might also be that. That music that you mentioned, though, it reminds me of, I can't think of what it was, but there's a movie that uses that same style of like, okay, we're going to go do something and then put in the rock music, you know, and I can't think of the movie, but if I loved it, like I love that kind of vibe to be like, this is what he's feeling inside his head. And he's like, I'm going to pull at every string and figure this out now. Like that, he's all back in.
And I think it started off with him driving angrily in his car. I think calling cops pigs, just saying those effing pigs. The music is just going, and then he's outside Delaware City Hall making phone calls, and then he ends up in a bug lab talking to a lab technician or something.
Some bug specialist who's like, yeah, no, I know about these bugs. Yeah, and that's one of the bugs that went in his phone.
Yeah, because his phone had too many tabs open.
This bug side story doesn't really pan out. I don't know what they're going to do with it, if they're going to bring it back next episode, but it seems like a weird offshoot that doesn't have an actual connection. Do you think it has a connection and we're going to get answers about the bugs?
I don't know. It seems like the bug heat map that he showed ended up at a couple of different places that he ended up going to look at, and he saw action at both. One was he's going to, and he actually saw the cop who is the Elvis guy with the Elvis costume.
Yeah.
That was one place he went. And then the next place was a warehouse, and he actually saw them loading TECCA chairs in. I do have to kind of go back to, I have to go back to the lab technician who talked about the sub shop and was really excited about how high they stacked the turkey, which I just have to say, it was funny because later Ron actually goes and eats there. And then also the weird moment where Natalie's telling him about the Wendy's and the ham.
The Carvers, Wendy's Carvers.
Yeah. And he stopped all conversation about the conspiracy and just had to dive in because he was really interested in whether or not they're going to serve ham at Wendy's.
Well, he was excited about it. And I like that he does that. I like that the writers let like all of us kind of breathe for a minute. For me, that's what it seems like as a comedy writer person is like, we're going to jump back for a minute and we're just going to chill and like really sit in like fun humor. And like, that's what it is. It's like, he's excited about Wendy's doing a new thing. I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of a break.
Yeah. I feel like it's also like a nod, wink, wink to maybe some sort of inside joke or something about maybe he loves carved ham and he just wanted to spend a second, suspend motion in kind of the progression and just give that all a little bit of love.
And yeah, to your point though, you're right that the bugs were in places of importance. So it's important and top level again. We can know this from this episode and we can know this from what you just said, where the bugs did, point to certain things. This is not a dream, at least what it seems like right now. And everything in this world exists and it does all seem connected, right? Like I could put that out there.
It seems like it happened. We've had someone verify that they were pulling together a master plan around this. And so it does seem like this was not some fever dream. But it's still, like I said, I still don't trust the resolution that we think we have based on the end of this episode. I still don't trust it because I feel like, A, there's another episode coming. B, this is Tim Robinson. And this whole thing has been like a crazy dream. The whole season. And then we have season 2 coming. So I just feel like we're going to be surprised next week as well. But I do want to jump to the next scene where
I love this scene.
This was a great scene. This was another great character.
Beautiful.
He's driving and he sees Romantic Depot, which sounds like maybe a a love toy store. You maybe go like almost
It's an
like
adult shop. Yeah, yeah.
that's an adult shop, but it's actually like a porn shop in a sense. And he goes in there and had this unbelievable conversation with the dude.
It's a sketch. Like this whole thing is a sketch. This is a beautiful sketch. I actually, after talking about it with you right now, when we finish this episode, I'm going to go watch it again because I feel like it's a standalone, right? Like it's almost like he's at its limit. That felt like a sketch too, like a just standalone thing you could watch. This is beautiful. It's like weird and awkward. And he goes in. And by the way, the loose thread that he would just go to a random shop because he has pictures of like that are kind of sexy pictures taken from that. It doesn't even like it shouldn't connect.
But yeah, and there's so many times where we thought, like, is he just dropping this whole thing? Like, we thought he's going to drop the bug crawling into the phone and never come back to it. We always wondered what happened with these porn photos at the at the Red Ball Marketing Corp or at the TECCA Corp. He did come back to it. I don't know if it means anything, but at least they gave it another. It had another note to it.
Yeah, they gave it a nod, but it's not like they answered it here. This is just for ridiculousness.
Ridiculousness. So the setup was really just made for the payoff in form of like a hilarious scene, but not so much in terms of the mystery.
I think so.
This porn guy, hey, the guy working behind the counter, I just love the lines. He goes like, "Porn's in a what do you say? Porn's in a really weird place right now."
Really weird place right now. He might not be wrong. IRL.
You might not be wrong, but Ron's like, you think these pictures I took a year ago were really great modern? Because he goes, this is some of the best stuff out there.
I know. It's crazy. Yeah.
And then he tells Ron that he needs to charge his phone by plugging a cord to it. And Ron's just like, okay, thanks.
And he immediately starts taking his pictures, which is hilarious. I mean, he can see it. He's right there. He's like literally downloading all of his stuff. And then when he does it,
very well could be a season 2 problem for Ron. I don't know, like this guy downloading all this porn could come back to bite him, or downloading all the photos off of Ron's.
Yeah, he took his whole family photos, everything. And then that guy is awesome. He's like, yeah, he does that. Yep, that's what he does. Like, so he's done it many times to many people. Yeah.
And he throws the phone into a fountain with soap in it because he thinks it looks like waves. The soap makes him think it looks like waves, and Ron's like, no, it isn't. But this character was so funny. He reminded me of the Tamblay shirt company guy who we got to get more of this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, he shows up again. And a connection. Oh, you wrote down a connection to Mike and the Scrooge porn from earlier. Yeah, it kind of has that because that vibe is within this show, you know, this kind of like creepy porn angle. It seems to pop back up.
Yeah. So because Ron gets his phone messed up from this dude, he then takes it to like repair company or a repair shop. When he gets it back, he turns the phone back on, and all of a sudden, like an iPhone would just start syncing all these messages, and he gets all these messages from the Tamblay thread, which gave us another crazy, pretty wonderful scene with some guy talking through a text about how he got his shirt, and the shirt had 3 patches on the back. This is the title unlock.
Yeah.
Where this is my hippie shirt, my dog likes whatever. This guy gets his shirt back and has 3 little patches on the back.
We just talked about a standalone sketch, and this is another standalone sketch. I mean, this is 100% it, because he's just reading messages, which is basically voiceover for the sketch. And then they do that crazy graphic of that guy's head just floating, which reminded me of like Wizard of Oz or something. Just really weird.
Yeah, it's almost like janky, old-fashioned 70s style.
Yeah, 70s style,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, like this is like a wizard or something, head floating.
Yeah.
But it just fits so well with this production. It just fits so well.
The whole thing, we don't really need to go into it, but it's just a weird little fever dream.
And then, where are we?
Natalie does recon at City Hall.
If you remember last episode's sneak preview of episode 7, everyone was like, Natalie may be in on it because we see her sneaking into a door. Well, as it turns out, she just went out on her own and tried to help Ron by doing a little detective work on her own.
Which, by the way, again, adds to this level of this whole episode. I don't want to say I was disappointed. I had to be truthful. I might be a little disappointed in the episode because at least what they're doing, if it's a trick out, then that's fine. But she wasn't doing anything nefarious. She wasn't in on it like we were speculating. She was just trying to help, which means she believes him, which means everything is what it is. Right? Like,
But here's what I don't understand. I think this is the big mystery after this episode is we learn that Barb knows about it, and it lends credence to the fact that maybe they think Ron is unstable and they're just letting him run around and play detective or something. We still don't know if like somehow Ron had essentially a breakdown. I still think there's that remote possibility out there because it seems like Natalie and Barb both knew what Ron was essentially doing because Natalie let Barb in on it. He's running around playing detective. And if you remember, Ron finds out that Barb knew about the whole thing because George comes up to him and goes, "Did you solve the mystery?"
yeah.
And it's almost like, oh, good little boy. He's got a little fun little mystery he's working on or something.
Right. So you're saying that basically that the Natalie scene is kind of just adding to the fact that her and Barb both know the whole time.
It almost seems like they're treating him like, oh, he's our special boy. Look at him. Maybe he had a breakdown. Like this is just let him play his little games. It just felt that way. The way George was talking to him, like, oh, did you solve the mystery? Sounded really exciting.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? What did you think what George said to him?
Well, we're jumping to the end, but yes, I think it's similar to the next scene we're about to talk about. I kind of didn't like it. It just makes everything very vanilla, and Tim and the writers aren't that. So they must be doing the most giant fake out in the world. Really, that's all I'm thinking right now, like you said, because all of it felt way too safe. Like that scene was very heartwarming. And yes, I know they do heartwarming in the show, but he's like, oh, she's a great lady. She loves you. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay, never mind. And then the ending is the ending. So I don't know. It felt milquetoast to me.
You don't think Tim would end it on that note?
Never. It couldn't be possible.
They're setting us up for like a complete, maybe this is like just a giant, amazing head fake.
Yeah, and it's going to be disaster. I think I'm still going to stick by it. I said it like episode 3 or 4. It ends in disaster. I don't know how it can't. But anyways, real quick to the other point, the next scene was Ron explaining everything to Mike. To my point, he goes, hey, Mike, sorry. He goes, okay. Where I thought it was going to be his enemy now, which I think is actually a better plot point. And Mike is like actively against him and yelling, like originally, like trying to hurt him. I could see that being actually more funny to me. But no, he's like, no, it's fine. Just come on up and I'll do whatever you need me to do.
For the fallout you expect never seems like the fallout that happens. And
well, not
so
this
that makes
episode.
It makes me think that the fallout from him pushing Jeff may not be as extreme as we expected.
There you go.
We all thought that after Mike because Mike really did think Tim was family. They kept emphasizing family, family, family. He wanted in on the party. He went out and got the chocolate Kong. And then Ron just treats him like he's dirt.
Yeah.
And so I thought Mike would be so hurt. It'd be like, okay, now he's going to take his revenge out. And all it took was Ron to apologize. Mike played a little Wazy Waynes on the intercom, though.
She's that Wazy Waynes, which I should have listened more for Pepperoni because I'm sure he's on there. But yeah, they have Mike goes to like tail the mayor, like to look for him. I don't know if this is written down, but that whole hot tub thing was pretty funny to me, where the guy was trying to get the mayor to go use his hot tub or something.
I mentioned the text string that he got about the Tambay Shirt Company. So that whole scene of that guy talking about how he took his shirt in and he thinks it's just a big scam, that was actually kind of a pivotal unlock in Ron's head on the fact that this is all a money laundering scheme. So when he is sitting there in his car reading, and we have this little hovering head talking about the Tambay Shirt Company and how it's just a big scam, how they're buying back their old shirts and selling them back for twice the price. Ron then he realizes that they're just putting the parts back into the chairs and reselling them. So they're buying the old chairs, fixing them, and then they're selling them again. And he realizes it's part of a money laundering scheme and that someone's in on it in a big way. And that's why he really needs to get hold of the purchaser lady, who ends up being like this sad little lady who's dying of cancer. Like in reality, like he goes and finds her house, but she's just a puppet.
Yeah.
She's just a puppet that she's being used by someone else.
I don't think she's sick, though. Remember, I think they clarified that she wasn't sick, and that she was just kind of like off her rocker
She's
a little bit.
Kind of off her rocker and old.
Yeah.
It seemed like maybe at first she's sick, or we realize that she's just been put out to pasture because she's old.
She's peculiar, and I think what was great, and I'm glad we brought this up, is that I liked that Ron liked her. He's like, she had the best heart in the whole world. Like he could see through something. I don't know.
Yeah. We were talking last episode about how Ron is so self-absorbed. He's almost narcissistic. And it seems like that mostly when it comes to his career, how he puts it above Barb's. But then he'll have these moments where he connects with an odd character and sees the humanity in them. And like he loves their oddness. And like he's just humoring this lady and helping her make faces. And that was just funny. He just thought she was like the greatest person ever.
Yeah. There's a purity to some moments where he finds that. And then let's just get to the party.
Before we do, though, we just have to mention, because we love this guy. You loved him in episode 2, the little short guy who was hiding in Ron's closet.
That's right. He's back.
He's kicking back on Mike's couch. He asked Ron for a job. Didn't he ask if Professor Robley could get him a job?
Yeah. He's like, "Can you give me a job?" And he's like, "Sure." Yeah, I guess. Professor. Yeah, I don't know what that scene happened just because they wanted to bring him back.
And so, final scene. This was a big one. A lot happened. I think it's pretty much lasted for 10 minutes. If you look at that last scene where Ron goes to the party, he's at Alice's house. To set the scene, Alice is the investor in Barb's company. Ron's kind of annoyed to be there because he wants to go and see what's going on with this mayor, because the mayor had a bunch of investigations into him, and he thinks maybe the mayor is at the center of everything. But Ron is at Alice's house. He's annoyed that he's there, first of all. Like, he's annoyed that he's there, and Barb knows it.
Yeah, he keeps trying to check in with Mike. And I keep thinking, I was actually skimming because I was watching HBO, and I do this. I know I shouldn't do it, but I skim ahead sometimes just to see the thumbnails to see what's going to happen. Does anybody else do that?
No. Why do you do that? That's horrible.
I do that a little bit. Leave me a comment if you ever do that. But I just wanted to see if he ever got back to the party, and I didn't see him back at the bar event because I kept worried that he was never going to get back there, and and he didn't. He never got to meet up with Mike,
but with good reason, because everything starts to come together, much to his surprise and ours, when Ron is there. There was a few couple fun moments though, where he's basically chatting about this one guy has these weird little meatballs in a bag in his pocket.
Oh, yeah.
What was that all about? Like another moment.
Just another sketch, throwaway sketch. I don't want to, be rude about eating when I don't want to eat their food, so I bring my own food. And then he pretends to eat and then eats his own food. Weird.
And so Ron is acting like a little child. He asks Barb, when's this thing going to be over? And then he oftentimes, as he does, when she reacts in a way like, you're in the wrong, Ron, he pivots and tries to make it look like he is trying to help her.
Yeah.
He does this a lot. If you notice how like he'll when she confronts him, he'll quickly look for something else to say that makes it look like he's actually on her side or helping her. And so he says, "Do you need any help with your speech?" She says no. And then he gets a call from Mike. He goes into the garage. Mike tells him to come. He said no. And then pretty quickly he gets the second call. This was, I think, right before the toast, after the dinner. He goes, and it's like it's a parlor or an office. And this is where everything comes together. Everything, as far as we know, the plot line falls into place. But he realizes that Barb's investor lady, Alice, is involved with this whole thing.
Yeah, as soon as that starts, like the dominoes start falling, because we've been so like in the dark this whole time, I was just like questioning all of it. I'm like, wait, does this mean this is it? Like, this is the answer? And then it, again, to my point of like it being way too easy, everything literally fell into place in front of him. He was like, saw the thing. Life of the party photos was Alice. Alice's center.
Oliver Pablo calls right at that moment and
Right
says
at
the
that
lady
moment,
wasn't Maggie. Yes, it was Alice.
Alice. And then he looks and he sees the name. And I'm like, didn't that feel weird? Like that they were just presenting it to us?
Yeah, they're suddenly just trying to flash all the answers right in front of us, so it quickly tied together in a bow. And I feel like that's why we're getting faked out, because I feel like it's just too much and too easy.
Could this be? Let me posit this. Because as I just relived it and I skimmed it in front of me on HBO Max, it does feel too perfect, doesn't it, Mike?
It feels way
Doesn't
too
it?
perfect.
So, especially the phone call and then looking at the words. So, if that's the case, did they fake us out in one whole episode? Could it all still be in his brain? Because the way Alice talks to him, which we can get to, it's so what you would think he would think she would say, if that makes sense, right? She's exactly what he is looking for. And that seems way too perfect too.
Yeah.
Right? Like this could be brain.
I don't want to go to the idea that this is all a dream, or
I'm just throwing it back. I'm just throwing it back.
I feel like we all kind of felt like, okay, this is happening. This mystery is really happening. This is happening in the real world. But it does seem like it's too easy. So how can we make this work out where we are getting faked out? What is the answer here?
I know, because in the last section here of our notes, Ron accuses Alice of poisoning Teresa, of running TECCA, of embezzling via chairs, of laundering the money into Barb's startup. All of that could be true then? Like,
could be. And then the son suddenly is there in the room trying to stuff a pill in his mouth, and that was weird. That was like, that connection was so weird.
The guy who made the website and all those colors were true. Again, I was like, really? That it's all real? The colors on his wrist?
Was pretty funny though, because they're all the women in his life. Which I didn't quite understand the explanation of the color code system, but it is what it is.
But there was an episode that we talked about that, and I said that can't be real. I remember it vividly, that the colors all match up. I was like, it's in his head. And this episode's telling us, no, it's exactly what you think it was.
So, to your point, everything falling into place once in one like 5-minute foul swoop in real time. This seems like in real time, it all comes together. Call from Oliver Pablo. He sees the document with her name on it. The son of Alice's sister shows up, tries to stuff something in his face. It all just seemed like too much, too fast. So I don't know what that signifies, other than maybe they're trying to fake Ron out. What do we think of the idea of Barb and Natalie both knowing that he's going through this? Natalie told Barb about this, and Barb knew about it, and she didn't let on the whole time.
What do I think about it?
Yeah, well, it's so weird that Barb knows about it and she never confronts Ron, because she seems like she's a plain talker. Doesn't seem like someone that would hide stuff from Ron. If she knows about this mystery he's following, why doesn't she ask him? Other than the fact that they're trying to treat him like he's a child.
That's the only main reason I'm thinking. But when you just said that, I was like, did they both go in on it with Alice? Is it a grand conspiracy where everyone's like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
No,
okay, anyways.
So there's two big unveils. The unveil on the Alice and the actual what happened, the crime involved. Then there's the unveil of Barb and Natalie both knew about this the whole time, or at least Barb knew about it for some time and Natalie knew about it longer. And then there's a whole idea which I thought was pretty interesting. Alice is so sophisticated and conniving that she actually makes Ron and Barb complicit in this whole thing by investing this dirty money into Barb's startup.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's a linchpin for season 2, possibly, right?
Yeah, and she also, remember, she said that we know you've been she said you got too close, which means they were watching him the whole time. And that's why, he went to go, attack him again, so perfectly timed that he'd be in the room. Where'd he come from? This is a Fight Club show. I swear it's a Fight Club show. Where'd that guy come from? But yeah, the fact that now the thing he's searching to destroy is a thing that's going to keep their livelihood alive. Their whole, that's their money.
That's their money.
So,
Well, we have one more episode to go. We have a whole nother season to go, which is exciting. So we're looking forward to talk about that in next season. But we'll be back next week with, what happens. Like we'll be able to kind of break it all down. I don't know if we're going to have a resolution to this mystery though. I feel like we may be having a cliffhanger for episode 8.
yeah, this might be the beginning of the fake out, which is like, here's what you think is the answer. Next episode, chaos. And then you have to wait, right? Because it's only one more episode.
Yeah. And what's interesting, if you look at the credits in IMDb or Wikipedia, I think episode 1 and 2 were written by Tim and Zach. Up until this, they also wrote episode 8. So it's just interesting. I don't know if I loved episodes 1 or 2 the best in terms of the writing. I feel like some of the other episodes were better. Anyway, it's just interesting. It'll be interesting to see what this next episode is like. I'm excited to see what happens.
I will say one more thing before we go. I'm looking at the little preview at the end of the episode, which is like a minute long or like 30 seconds. And it freaking shows Baby.
Oh, you're pissed. Does Baby have the bonnet on? I thought
no,
Baby
funny. Has no bonnet, and he's taking a picture, I think, with Ron. So I guess Baby's still in the picture, baby.
Baby didn't die. I think Baby dying would have been more traumatic for Ron because there was a possibility that Ron or Baby got rat poison, but it doesn't look like Baby got rat poison.
Baby did not get it. It was in Ron's head. There was no rat poison in his baby. All right, that'll do it. Keep leaving your comments on Facebook and on the podcast. Thank you for joining us, and check us out on YouTube. And we'll see you in the finale.
See you next week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.